And we're live. Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of the Leadership Studio. Our topic today is exciting. It is the employee journey advantage, reimagining Agile for the AI era. I love it when I get a chance to talk about Agile stuff because I don't get to do that very often anymore. But I think it's exciting. I am here today with an expert in both Agile and AI, Michael Hutson. And Michael, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. Could you introduce yourself for everyone? You're going to do a much better job at that than I will.
Sure. Again, name's Michael Hutson. I've been working with teams navigating massive technology shifts while keeping people engaged and thriving. Over the last 2 decades, I've led several digital transformations across Canadian organizations, financial institutions, some high-tech companies, some notable retail giants. Um, but most recently, over the last 10 years, I've been the founder of Beacon Hill Consulting,
Mhm.
where I've evolved my focus is building high-performing agile teams.
Mm. That's a big deal. Like building high-performing agile teams is a big deal.
It's what excites me. It really excites me,
Mhm.
Todd.
Awesome. So let's do this, because what I'd love to do is we got a big title, and there's a lot of little bits and pieces in it. I think that maybe the thing that I'd like to do to start us off is to look at some words that are put together that maybe folks won't be as accustomed to. Specifically, I'm thinking employee journey and reimagining agile in AI. And I don't know which one of those sticks out for you biggest, but yeah, like what's here? What's here in this space?
So, just one moment. I think there's some audio backup issues. I'm gonna
Okay,
pause 1 second.
sure.
1 second. There we go. Do I have you there, Todd?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Just getting back.
We
Um,
good?
yes, now we're good. I think
Awesome.
I had
Okay.
another screen that
So
was
yeah,
popped up.
the employee journey advantage, reimagining agile for AI. What the hell do we
Yes.
even mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I totally get it. So I've been doing this for so long, Todd, and what I've seen
Mhm,
with transformations, technology transformations, uh, it's usually not the funding, it's not the team, it's not the technology itself, but it's
mhm,
actually the teams that are empowered, um, that are the most successful in terms of building those customer
mhm,
journeys. But what I've learned is when you include the employee as part of
mhm,
the delivery aspect
mhm.
and uh, take a deeper dive in terms of that, I've seen the most success in terms of both the delivery standpoint, but also the growth of team members.
And I think you said something really interesting there because the word journey within the context of agile, at least the way that I've seen it, has usually been attached to the word customer.
Yes.
You're very interested in the customer journey, and you've kind of flipped that on its head a little bit. I think that's so exciting.
It, it because everyone focuses on the product.
Hmm.
Everyone focuses on that product or service. We have, like, if you think about the epics and the stories and the product owners, and
Hmm.
there's a large amount of literature that's been developed in
Hmm.
terms of the product manager role and
Hmm.
develop product. But when you tie that back, and this is what I observed, just because I'm ingrained into teams on a daily
Hmm.
basis that are building those product and services that deliver that to that customer.
Hmm.
And what I've realized, and I've experimented this with teams,
Hmm.
is that when you engage with them and say, what are you looking to accomplish when we deliver this X amount? And I'm not talking about that customer journey exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to achieve for yourself?
Mm,
What does the team, particularly, what does the team look like?
mm-hmm.
And then you start uncovering and uncovering uh, what a high performing team may look like.
Right.
And I've built uh, starting new teams, building kind of coming into existing teams and assessing and start uh, en- enabling teams to build that uh, what that what that potential high performing team may look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it serves the organization well because now
Right.
teams are no longer just delivering stories and epics. They're truly engaged in what that product really could look like
Yeah.
and that end product.
Michael, we're losing your audio a little bit. I wonder if something's happened.
Hear me okay?
Can you try again? Test one, two, three.
Test, test, test,
That's better.
test. There we go. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we were just losing you a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I think what's interesting to me, or I think what I'm hearing when you talk about high performing teams and what does the team want, right? It's to me there's two pieces, right? Two entities. There's the individuals on the team, and maybe we're talking about a scrum team, that who knows, right? It could be anything, but there's the individuals on the team, whether they're developers or testers or whatever their role happens to be, and then there's that entity which is the team itself, right? Like what does person one, person two, person three, person four need in order to feel successful, in order to be engaged, in order to want to be a high performer, and then collectively what do they need for high performance? Is that what we mean by employee journey, or is it something else?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. Um, and I think a large part when you do stand up teams they focus on the teams itself.
Uh-huh.
But everyone has their own journey. Because especially working with the individuals that I support, I'm working with boomers, Xers,
Mm-hmm.
Gen Ys.
Yeah.
They all have different needs and desires, and they all have visions of where they want to go. But that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily always get uncovered out of the gate.
Mm.
It's through over time.
Okay.
But the reason why I'm excited about this particular topic, just honing on this topic on AI,
Yeah.
is because from my experience the last 2 years being on project teams that have delivered AI to market,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's an amplifier. It's an amplifier.
AI is an amplifier.
AI is an amplifier of both what is the art of the possible,
Mm-hmm.
but also it amplifies the behaviors of teams.
So okay, so I might be playing a bit of a contrarian here,
Yep.
but I'm going to do it because in my practice, I've certainly heard no shortage of people um, talk to me about AI, and what it's amplifying is anxiety, right? What it's amplifying is do I even have job security? Will I be obsolete? Right? I think that's the kind of individual stuff and within that context, what I'm hearing you say is that, if there's an opportunity amplification as well, there's a way that anxiety that people are naturally experiencing is going to also have to be addressed.
100%.
Ah, that's
100%.
exciting. That is exciting.
And,
How do you do that?
well, I think it's being open about it, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and I think, and I go back, I wrote this one article about Agile, 4 zones of Agile
Yeah,
teams.
that's a great article.
You can share it in the show
Yeah,
notes.
we'll put the link in the show notes, but maybe just like, I know that there's a quick matrix that you can share so that
Yes.
we can, so let's do that.
But it just a quick highlight, just going back to psychological safety. So that it's basically it's a quadrant, 4 quadrants, and teams are made up into comfort zone. So high safety,
Yep.
but low accountability. An anxiety zone, which I've experienced project teams where there's a low safety and you're
Hmm.
pushing teams, the get her done,
Hmm.
high pressure
Hmm.
to get a project in place or
Yep.
delivery in place.
Hmm.
And probably the one of the worst zones to be in is the empathy zone where there's low safety, low accountability, uh, and you're trying to lift up teams to move into another stage. But
Mm.
the area where I try to aspire to or try to get teams to get to is the learning zone. And this is where there's
Okay.
high level of safety and they're high performing.
Mm.
And this is where the amplification of AI can be enabled.
So, so before we go there, just
Yeah.
just because I want to dial back to what you're calling the learning zone, and in as much as it's possible, sort of separate Agile from AI, because what I'm hearing when you say learning zone are a couple things that are kind of core to what makes an Agile team successful, right? And that's, ability to fail without repercussion, ability to learn from failure, and knowledge that that's actually part of the process, like building in, the inevitability of some failure is part of what makes the team successful.
And that's where it's not about velocity. I know
Right.
the burn down charts and velocity, that's more so kind of the getter done mindset.
Yep.
But
Yep.
really, when I think about agile, it's really about learning fast and being able to adapt, but getting into that space where folks are able to fail and
Yeah.
but also feel comfortable to just talk how they're feeling,
Right.
um, and giving them a framework to do that. Um,
Uh-huh.
and this is where that this shift to AI is kind of stretching that safety zone. What I would
Oh,
say,
okay.
because as you mentioned, right, everyone's folks about, is AI going to replace me?
Hmm.
So, what is my job description last year? Is it going to look the same next year? Am I going to be
Hmm.
reporting to the same manager?
Hmm.
What does my career path look like?
Exactly.
Because and this is what's interesting time right now. Every knowledge workers. So I work with
Hmm.
knowledge workers, developers, architects, QA folks, business analysts, systems. These are all knowledge workers that
Hmm.
AI is having a huge impact on their roles
Hmm.
and what they do. So collectively creating a space for that they can evolve and start using AI. And
Hmm.
this is where I'm really excited about the direction of this kind of employee journey because it's really going to amplify not only individuals on my team,
Hmm.
but the capabilities that they'll have down the road. And it's evolving every week and month. It's great. It's kind of
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, so, and I guess what I'm hearing is so I think this is where the employee journey comes in, and frankly, I think this is also where, intentional humanity within leadership is an important piece, because what I think I'm hearing you say is that AI is going to open up all these possibilities, and at the same time, sort of the buzz around AI is going to open up all this anxiety. It already has, like we're witnessing it. So an intentionally human-centric leadership approach, right, can leverage that opportunity piece in AI and help create more safety, help create more, right, more of those things that we know are ingredients to high performing teams. Is that right?
Yes, but I think the caveat is like there has to be more of a. Um, I think what's unique about it is like every other initiative or like what I've seen over the last,
Mm-hmm.
you can push the technology through, but
Okay.
because it's having an impact on you have to make a more conscious focus on the
Yeah.
employee at this point.
It Yes. I mean, certainly there have been like impactful and important technological advances, right? Blockchain, pick one, right? Like there's, right, but they haven't been sort of like they haven't created an existential crisis quite in the same way. And I think what I'm hearing you say is that we got to acknowledge that. We got to acknowledge that it's an existential crisis for knowledge workers, because this is like we're asking them to do the thing, and we're asking them to do it in an environment that will be completely unknown.
Correct.
Wow.
And we don't know the direction, like
Uh-huh.
even self-reflection. My own roles are impacted and is shifting for sure.
Ooh, now that's really interesting too, right? So, and this is, and to be honest, is one of the reasons why I really wanted to have this conversation with you, because Michael, I know that you said to me that you are constantly evolving through this AI journey as well, like learning, what does, what doesn't, all that sort of stuff, and there's a way, and this is where I might be asking something that's personal, so forgive me if I go that way, but you have had to sort of make peace with that in some way, right? As a leader, you've had to step into that unknown space for the sake of something bigger, something more important, right? And and I know that one of your passions is building these high performing teams and making sure that people have the space in order to be high performing. So what's that like? Like that's like for you though, what's that like? That's got to be tough.
And this is where the high trust environment comes in. And there, there's a sense of empathy, but also transparency for myself, right? Like say, yeah, guys, you know what? Like this is how it's impacting my role, and but also I'm kind of leading the way in that.
Yeah.
Through experimentation and gaining feedback from and like for example, I recently experimented on using AI to do forecasting.
Okay.
Whether you're a project manager, scrum master, we're always asked, what is the date? Let's be honest.
I know that one really well.
But using these new tools and capabilities, I'm openly sharing that with the team and saying how I'm using AI, and I'm being frank. This is my first time using this. I'm experimenting. This is the output. We are far off? I don't know. And getting that feedback, but opening the opportunity to say, you know what I did in the past is not necessarily what I will be doing in the future. And then having that opportunity for themselves, because they all have their own expertise and they're creating their own AI journey and how they're adapting to their roles.
I like that. I like that so much, because what I'm hearing you say, Michael, is like, as a leader within that context, you're not only modeling the use of the technology, because that's easy, anyone can do that, but you're modeling the willingness to experiment and fail with that, which is extremely human. Like that's how we learn.
And it's a bit challenging for sure.
Yeah. Well done. Well done, my friend.
Well, again, it's leading with a bit of humility and not knowing where things may land, I think also creates a safe space for the team to learn.
Yeah.
And through that, they are able to perform. And this is where I guess my passion in nurturing teams comes in, and noting that when they are able to be at their best, and I've seen it in countless situations where like a new student comes in and comes up with an idea, and we give them an opportunity to present it to the team, and it's like, wow. Or a developer that was like super quiet. I just remember this one story where this one developer had the opportunity. The product owner came up with an idea, and he said, you know what, I will have a working software within 2 days. I was like, are you kidding?
Wow.
I was like, okay, go ahead. without having expectations and just
Right.
letting them
Give it a
try,
shot.
give it a
Yeah.
go. Let's see what happens.
Hmm.
Um, and this is where it leads to, because I don't know where when we looking at this journey with AI is kind of giving that opportunity for folks to try things out and see where it lands.
Hmm. Hmm. So, because, hmm, is it true then that AI is an accelerator? Like, so a developer came to you and said, I'm going to have a prototype for you in 2 days. Is that like, I mean, my eyes got really wide too, but it's been a long time since I've been in the software development business.
Yes and no. It's an
Hmm.
amplifier. Yes,
Okay.
you can throw a proof of concept or a demo in short order,
Right.
but the question is you still need the deep level thinking in terms of
Right.
the strategy, in terms
Right.
of the vision of what your product's going to look like, your
Right.
connection with the customer.
Hmm.
I don't know. For me, I would envision there's still going to be a lot of bad AI products out there that are going
Hmm.
to get thrown out to market because
Uh-huh.
folks haven't really
I,
completely thought it through.
I've seen a
Or
number of them already.
yeah,
I'm sure you have too.
yeah, of course. Um, I think it comes back when folks are vested,
Hmm.
they will take extra care in serving that customer.
Okay. And that's back up in that learning zone that you described.
100%. And
Okay. Sorry, go ahead. I interrupt you.
yeah, and I think folks, and just my own experiences, what's unique with AI this time around, what I've seen,
Hmm.
it's not the traditional software, design,
Hmm.
development, testing, put it into production,
Hmm.
you're good. Now with AI, it's like it's almost like you're doing an experiment. You have
Hmm.
a hypothesis, you
Hmm.
throw it into production. You have to see how does it dynamically
Hmm.
operate in production. So you're constantly monitoring. So
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah,
I'm
so
excited
having
about
that
something.
yeah, but having that team in place, that high performing
Hmm.
team in place that's engaged,
Hmm.
it it's a
It
key. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
but it feels to me like it harkens back to something really, really like classical AI or not or agile, right? Like it's what you're talking about is like how iterative development is supposed to work.
At
Like
10x.
at its core, right? At its core, yeah.
And
It's
it and this is where it goes back. And I think
mhm.
we've seen such Agile's gotten a beating the last couple
Yeah,
years.
yeah. I've heard lots and lots of people say Agile too.
But to be honest, I'm more excited than ever about Agile
Hmm.
because of what the opportunity lies.
Hmm.
And now
Couldn't agree
that
with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. Go ahead. Sorry. Yep.
because I think what bad Agile has been is like focus on the process and tools
Mhm.
and the mechanisms, the mechanics of
Mhm.
Agile.
Yeah.
It's like Scrum or
Yep.
whatever mechanism
Pick
you're
one.
using.
Yep.
Pick one. But now it's especially those Agile practitioners that have honed their skills and be able to nurture teams. Now you're focusing on values.
Mm.
And that's where the secret sauce is coming in.
Hmm.
And I'm no longer managing Jira tickets that's going to be all automated.
Hmm. Hmm. So what are you managing? Or is it even managing? Is that even the right
That's
word
a wrong
anymore?
word. It's more
Yeah.
nurturing, I would say.
Okay. Sorry. What is it? What?
Nurturing.
Nurturing. I like that.
Uh, and to be honest, I don't. Yeah, my team they're self-organized. They
Yeah. They don't need a manager. They need a leader.
100%.
Mm.
And the honing of, and this is where the leadership I think will shift.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
because folks will have a higher expectation of those leaders as they evolve
Yeah.
and kind of make this all the easy stuff will be gone really.
Hmm. Okay. So we only have 5 minutes left. And I think that we probably have another 30 minutes
Yeah,
content easy. But there's one quick, I think that you hit on something really, really important, right? That the things that those leaders are accustomed to doing are, a lot of it's going to be automated. So, Michael, I'm a leader in this space. I'm an Agile coach. I'm a Scrum Master. I'm someone who wants to operate in that space and who wants to, to be ready for what's coming. What advice do you have for me?
I think if folks have retrospectives or folks have an operational review, start and open the conversation with your teams to self-reflect on, have an open conversation. And it may lead to maybe your own personal vulnerabilities, and just start with that and sharing, but getting folks to talk about the future of work and how they see themselves shifting in this kind of next generation where AI and humans work together. As for the Agile teams and such, just create space for your teams.
Oh, I love that.
And what I mean by that is consciously think about not piling on user stories or the workload, but create space for teams to learn.
Create space for the teams to learn. Amen. Oh, that's so good. Because that's a long-term investment.
It is,
and I think, yeah, and no, there's no use in sugarcoating it. That's a long-term investment.
It is, but where just from my own experience, my career, the competitive advantage is never on the technology. It's on the people and teams. And this is why I'm a huge proponent of having persistent teams, because at the end of the day, AI will evolve quickly. Folks will adapt AI, but really the organizations that I've worked with and that have had long-term success are the teams that have had persistent teams.
Ooh.
And
that's a mic drop.
It's a bit of a mic drop.
The competitive advantage is the people, not the technology.
And it still true. I promise you this. We will be talking about this years later, and I've seen this so many times.
It harkens right back to the Agile Manifesto. It's about people. This is about people. And it's still about people.
100%. And I'll put a bet on it. I'll put a bet.
I'm with you on that one. I'm not going to bet against you. I'm not going to bet against you on this one. Oh man, Michael, there's so much to cover in here. Thank you for sharing this, and thank you for sharing your experiences. And like, this has been I've learned a lot. I think this is going to be one of those conversations that people refer back to. It'll be interesting to see what it's like in a couple years. So listen, we're going to put the notes to your article in the show notes. If folks want to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, folks want to get a hold of me. LinkedIn's the best spot. Just DM me. Glad to have a conversation on Agile and the future of work for sure. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. And as for me, everyone here knows how to get a hold of me. I'm on LinkedIn, or you can get me at www.toddkarges.com. And this has been the Leadership Studio on the employee journey and reimagining Agile for AI. And I'm so glad we had the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Todd.
It was my pleasure. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the camera. Here we go.